Welcome back, everybody, to the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA Series Season 7. We're back for round 6 of 8 here at Fuji Speedway. It looks dry at the moment, but you can see we've got the weather radar in the bottom right corner of your screen, and that means we're going to get some rain later today. You can see it on the brink. We're set for a dry qualifying, followed by a wet race. I'm being joined today by Ule. It's great to have you with us again. What are you looking forward to in today's race?
Thank you, George. Lovely to be back. Yeah, you mentioned it yourself, the rain. Rain is always interesting for the viewers and for the commentators, but not so much for the drivers that just want a nice and dry track. But I really hope that it's going to mix up some things then compared simultaneously with multi-class racing. It's just going to be a proper racing.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see the rain be perhaps more interesting than we have seen it in the past. We're going to have the new iRacing spotty rain, new for this season. So rather than just a big block of rain, you get intermittent bits of rain around the track and different levels of rain varying. And it's all outside of our control. It's just produced by iRacing. So really looking forward to that today and see what that presents. But first, we're going to go qualifying. GT3's out first, as usual. I believe the first car to start a lap was Marnix Heister. He's gone through Sector 1 already. Oriel Falk has now gone quicker. This is who we're following through that big turn, but I couldn't tell you for the life of me what on the numbers it is. Not a track that I've raced at often here today. You can see this little pack though. He's got his teammate right behind him, and I think that's Van Elmers in the Porsche behind him as well, picking up that toe. Different to what we've run here in the past. We're running that no chicane layout, as you can see just there. They don't go through the chicane, they just go straight on at turn 10 and into the tight twisty section towards the end of the lap. Dave Van Eck has gone quicker in Sector 1 so far as well. Ule, could you just give us there you go. Just asking if you could give us a mic check. I think I've just got you quite loud enough.
While we're going through qualify, we're still live, right?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. While we're going through qualifying, just trying to look at some of the standings for the GT3s. We have the GT3M currently being led by Tejon Blumen. He's got 1,449 points, and then right behind him it's Dave Van Eck with 1,406 points. Then third place it's Sven Elmers with 1,308, so almost 100 points less than Dave, but Dave just about 40 points away from Tejon. Remember, you can get a maximum of 385 points, I believe. You can see here in the standings here, 385 is the max amount of points that have been scored by a current GT3 AM leader, Tejon Blumen, back when we were running Sandvort. He got that for pole position, and Bruce win as well. So points for both. So very, very tight battle here on the top. A little further back, P4, it's Paolo Antinori, and then it's starting to look a little tough. Paolo in P4 got 1,173 points, and then Matteo Lemway P5 with 1,078. So still within reach of a championship, but yeah, they're gonna start to have to pull something out of their sleeves if they wanna mix themselves with Dave and Ted. Then going to GT3 Pro, we have Oriel Falk leaving currently. He's got 1,408 points. Actually, so some pretty good races. He also dropped race at Sandboard where he didn't participate. 0 points there, so only 4 points counting for him. Cannot afford to have any bad races. Really, that's really gonna hurt him. So in second place, we've got Daniel Murphy, BMW driver, 1,304 points. So just about 100 points behind Oriel, but yeah, no, that's not quite true. I was gonna say Daniel also has a 0 point race last time at Hockenheim it didn't participate in that one neither. And then in third place, it's Matteo Ubertalli, who has participated in all the races, got 1,296 points. So very, very, very tight between P2 and P3. Then P4, it's Yannick Jarrett, 1,272, 20 points, 24 points behind Mattia. And then P5, it's Adam Jarvis, 1,240 points, really close. And then just take P6 here, Ignas Wyszynski. It's a driver that's been driving in the AM category, but has shown that he has pace to play with the big boys here. 1,225 points, really, really close to that as well. Less than 200 points behind Oriol Falk's P1. Of course, Ignas has also had a drop round at Hockenheim where he didn't participate, so we'll also have to keep the good stream coming. He's had some great races, 379 points at Suzuka. It's his best this season. But yeah, really close between P6 and P3 actually, and then there's a little gap between P2 is actually pretty close. P2 to P6, sorry, is all within 80 points, 81 points to be exact, and then there's 104 points between P1 and P2, but really close. GT3 Pro and GT3 as mentioned, 3 rounds left. This is one of them. Next time going to Indianapolis, and then we are finishing off at Daytona.
Yeah, it's definitely worth bearing those championship points in mind. You said that there's a couple of guys who need to score big, and there's a couple of guys that can't afford any more drop rounds. And now we've got a wet race coming up that's going to be very, very interesting, and potentially is going to shake up the points. As we stand, Daniel Morphy, who we just spoke about, who said P2 in the standings at the moment, but he's currently on provisional pole position ahead of the Ferrari of Adam Jarvis, and then Oriol Falk, who is the championship leader in Pro. So all of these guys really, really close, as we've come to expect over the season, particularly in qualifying. So it's going to be interesting to see how they all approach a rain today and who takes risk. And I think those guys are a little bit further back and have a drop round to use. Like you said, Matteo Batali's not had a 0-point round yet, so obviously he's still only dropped his lowest round, so he can afford to take a bit more risk than some of these other guys can in this race.
Yeah, it hasn't had a drop round. Lowest one is 264, so that's his current drop round, where the others are at 0. Adam Jarvis actually hasn't had one neither, 233. But yeah, it does play in, as you say.
Jarvis and Oriol Falk trading times there to go second and third, and then Ignas pops it up into P2 with no purple sectors, just consistent greens the whole way around. He'll be pretty pleased with that. Like you were speaking about him not that long ago, running in the AM category up until this season, and he's showing that he really does belong in the Pro category. He's challenged for wins a couple of times this season, and he's just put it on the front row. Worth bearing in mind that this is a dry track and the race is going to be wet. You can see a little bit of water if you get offline, but it's really not much. So it is essentially a dry track. Everyone's on dry tyres. It's just a very green track. I think that's going to be interesting come the race, because we've got all of these guys that are out there running on dry tyres, dry setups, and they're going to switch to the rain. So it really might depend on who's had the most practice in the different conditions.
So just Ignas, that's a pretty good pro. We also see Dave Vanek is going to P5 overall. Actually, only 4 pro drivers ahead of him. So if you're in the AM class, don't think that it's going to be easy. Just go in there and dominate. You do have competition still. Sometimes it's a bit easier than others, but you also have people like Ignas and Dave that come in and give you a tough time.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the 2 Ferraris there kicking up the water on that exit curb out of the final corner that's still there from practice. Adam Jarvis has gone purple in sector 1 with that big toe behind his teammate. He finishes his lap. Oriol doesn't. Oriol pulls off. There's no improvement there. Jarvis does improve his lap time and moves up to P2. So really solid lap there from him. His teammate will be hoping to join him. They've got about 2 minutes left in this session, I believe. No, in fact, we run to 14 minutes, I think, don't we? So got about 3.5 minutes left in this session, so get out now and you'll still get a couple of flyers in, especially if you need that warm-up lap to get the tyres up to temperature. See Ignas following out the Ferrari here, definitely looking for a tow come next time around. Ariel Falk then. In fact, that's an outlap. Timing screen was just showing the wrong data. Let's take a look at Matteo Ubertali. Currently split between him and the rest of the pro field, ahead of him by an AM driver, Dave Van Eck, currently the AM pole sitter in terms of points. Matteo Ubertali looking to improve though. He's gone green and then yellow. And green again, and it is a lap time improvement, and it moves him up to P5. Look at that, the times there, Ule, on that, at least on the graphical timing. We've got Alex Ott and Dave Van Eck with identical lap times. Matteo Ubertali getting black flagged as he pulled out the pit lane there. It'll be for speeding in the pit lane. Marnix Heister in the pro class, currently sitting second to last. It is a lap time improvement. He's up to P13 in the sole Lamborghini in the series. Others looking to improve. Senna Brockhoven coming through the final sector. And Matteo Lemeroy was with his reset to the pit lane. Ubertali black flagged again. There was black flag cleared, so he's reset and gone again. 2-minute warning from race control has just come through as well. It might not pop up on our stream because it came at the same time as another message. That's 2-minute warning through these GT3 cars. About 1 minute 37, 1 minute 40. That's the reason you're looking for on a flyer. So this will be the last lap for a lot of people.
Yeah, looking at the time table, it's just thousands of a second that's separating Alex Ott and Dave Van Eck. But you can look a bit further up, it's really nothing that's separating Alex Ott neither. 400th between him and Mattia, and then again 200th between him and Oil, and then 600. So it's less than a tenth between these guys. It's just incredible to see.
Yeah, incredibly close.
Really, Daniel Murphy, we could keep on going up. Daniel Murphy is 1.5 tenths away from Adam Jarvis.
Yeah, we just had this instant. We heard Adam Jarvis on the radio asking for an instant to be looked at. I believe this is it. He picked up a 4X with one of the Ferraris.
It looks like it was with Ignis.
On it. He's already off the track there. Let's take a look. I think this is the instant here. Is Ignis going to run into the back of him? Yes, he is. Oh yeah, Adam clearly not happy about that, starting his flyer, and I think that means session over for him as well. Now, they could give Ignis a pit lane start if race control deem him to be entirely at fault. They could give him an in-game time penalty. He'll really be wanting to avoid a pit lane start, given he's currently sat P3 and it's going to be wet, so the field will spread out very quickly, you would imagine. Daniel Morphy still top of the timing boards. Oriel Falk got a little bit closer with that purple final sector on the previous lap to get within 300ths of Daniel, but that'll be the last attempt for him, so no more improvement coming. Marnix Heister looking to improve, as are a couple of others. Yannick Gerards is going to be the first to come to the line. He runs a little bit deep, gets all over the curb, avoids the sausages nicely through this sort of off-camber left-hander, and only the final corner left to navigate on this lap for Yannick Gerards in the DLR Porsche. Gets on that curb, but avoids the big puddle that's sort of appearing at the end of that curb. And that'll be interesting to watch during the race, what drivers avoid what curbs when the rain comes down. Yannick Gerards to the line. It is an improvement, but it's not a position improvement, so secures that P8 a little bit more than it perhaps was before. Matteo Ubertali is going to be next to come across the line, but he's yellow and yellow so far. Sorry, Dave Van Eck comes across the line first, doesn't improve. Matteo Ubertali also doesn't improve, it's yellow and yellow. Matteo Lemeray does improve, but doesn't move up the order. I think admitted to the race director Andy Tapman that he hadn't done enough practice in the build-up to this event. That's all cars in the pit lane, and so Daniel Morphy will be your pole sitter in GT3. That's Daniel there. You can see through the catch fence in that Red Eagle Racing BMW. And that's a pit lane start for Ignis Vincerevsky, so he'll drop from P4 down to P16. he will not be very pleased about that, but he was trying to run as close as he could to his rivals, and it's cost him quite dearly. That is, I believe, Albert Preem queuing up at the start of the pit lane as his teammate and returner to the series, Matthias Whiten, gets in the queue a little bit further back in that Porsche. The teammates running two different cars. I believe that is a new livery on one of the other cars we've got out there. That's Davy van der Vacker, is it? Yeah, back in the series after half a season away. Was looking for an invitational round for Daytona, I believe, but has decided he's going to see out the season as well. Potentially readying for a full-time comeback next season. Plans for next season are underway as well. They will be announced fairly shortly, I believe, once we finalise the calendar. David van der Vacker running that pink DLR Cadillac. That'll be helpful in the race to tell them apart when we don't have the identifiers on screen. Just trying to fix the graphics here for you.
Icon on the outlap.
There we go. Who was that a spin for? Sorry, Emre.
Yeah, I think Emery here got a 2x spun out.
Oh, right up the back of one of the Idiom Motorsports cars and locks a rears.
Yeah, like he didn't take anybody with him, luckily.
Yeah, building up tyre temperature quite effectively. And maybe a couple of flat spots as well on those tyres. Resets to pit lane. Davy van der Vacker will not be leading the field. It will be Albert Preem, the winner last time out, making up for that mistake he made at Watkins Glen. You're looking to put it on pole again. Pretty dominant last time out as well. No one really got close to him at any point. Obviously goes purple in Sector 1. We've not seen any other sector times. We'll update you as they come. Quinta Verdonk 2 times quicker in Sector 1 than Albert Preem. But Davy van der Vacker a little bit off these guys. Albert Preem also 2 times quicker. Eloy Cabinero also 2 times quicker than Albert Preem, but the others a little bit way off that. Matthias Whiten in 30 seconds, so 6 seconds off what those guys did. So that's more of a build lap for him. Preem now making his way into the final section of a lap. He goes 4 times quicker than his teammate Quinton Verdonk in Sector 2. So these two drivers perhaps running slightly different setups. Eloy Cabinero has gone even quicker in Sector 2. We're going to have a tight fight for pole here today. Albert Preem lays his foot to the floor for the run for the line, closely followed by Quinton Verdonk, who is not his teammate. Sorry, I got that the wrong way round. Albert Preem, though, is going to come to the line and set the benchmark time at 1:26.1, about 11 seconds quicker than a GT3's managed. Quinton Verdonk can't beat him. He's 3 tenths off of that pace. Next to the line is going to be Eloy Cabinero, who goes even quicker with 4 tenths margin at the front. Mega lap from Eloy there. Dave van der Vacker did cross the line, but the lap time was invalidated. Juanto Avale goes P4. He'll be looking for more than that. Albert Preem goes purple in Sector 1, though, so it's all on the second lap. We've seen this from Albert before. Quinton Verdonk matches him and goes slightly quicker, in fact, in Sector 1. So we've seen it before, like the second lap being much quicker than we get on the first lap.
Yeah, it's there's much to it. I think some of these drivers also going out for an outlap. That's of course gonna be like an outlap and then a warm up lap, and that's gonna improve their second lap as well. Of course, a little bit less fuel also helps a little bit. Warming up the tires slightly this corner here, or the second final corner, really difficult. You really need a lot of heat in those tires to try and get through that.
Yeah,
let's try and see if anybody can improve it. It wouldn't be the first time that the Pulsar doesn't get to keep his position after the first time out.
Yeah,
also, if you look at the radar that we have, it's getting closer. The water here should stay dry for last 9.5 minutes that we have left.
You can see
they're
it.
gonna have to go out now.
Oh, someone spun off there, but Albert Preem went quickest, and then was beat quite quickly again by both Eloy Cavanier and Quinton Verdonk. That was a spin for Jeffrey Ross. I believe has been a similar incident for Liam de Kock in turn 1.
Matthias Weiden completes lap going into 5th position here. 125.7, so 9/10 behind Quinton Verdonk. Really, I wouldn't call it a slow lap time for Matthias, but it's not up to his standards, is it?
No, he'll be looking for more. I
I
think he was a little bit disappointed with the way it went last week as well, although he did go on the wrong tyre strategy at Hockenheim, and there won't be much tyre choice to make here today. Although whether the fresh wets will be worth it if it's a full wet race is definitely something the drivers will have to consider. Jeffrey Ross then run to the line. He'll be followed by his teammate Liam de Kock closely behind in the BMWs. Ross sets a lap time, but it's not being recorded. Both these drivers have off tracks on those laps then, so that will not be counted either of those laps, and they're running out of time really. 8 minutes left in the session and not a lap time on the board for either of these guys. Same goes for Emre Kamaldar and Carlos Pons as well, 6 seconds off the leaders. That might not even be 105%, but I'm sure he'll be given dispensation to race by race control anyway, given lap times he should have done in practice. Jeffrey Ross
does look like he's enjoying himself out there. A lot of hot techs and spins, but I have some time left to try and put in the lap. One of the guys that you mentioned still yet to put it in, but it is a really difficult lap to try and push on this Fuji track. You really have to go out far, and sometimes it just doesn't work for you.
Yeah, a lot of off-camber corners as well, like this one here that Jeffrey Ross is making his way through. And I think with the rain we had earlier as well, the track is going to be very low grip, despite the running that we had towards the end of practice. Says Viton picks up a 1x on this lap, so that won't count. Jeffrey Ross then will set a valid lap time, I believe. He's going to come across the line now. It's a 1:25.368. That moves him up to P4, so now he's got a lap time and he's looking fairly competitive.
It's not too shabby, half a second off P1. Should be able to find some more out there. Maybe even challenge a little bit for P3. Just Liam de Kock and well left. Liam de Kock looking to come out on his first lap. No, he's just left the pit. Sorry, so he's gonna have a warm up lap here. Should have plenty of time.
Davy van der Wacker looking to improve, and he does, up to P3. Now showing on the timing screen. Apologies for that, new to the series this week, wasn't added to the timing tower correctly, but he is now, and he's put it P3 on his return to the series ahead of his teammate who's fighting for the title. You can see that rain getting ever closer on the radar. You can see the spottiness of those cloud formations, and they will be joining us pretty soon, but it will be post-qualifying as Quinton Verdonk goes purple in Sector 1. Davy van der Wacker improving again as well. Improvement from Eloy Caballero in Sector 1. And Quinton Verdonk pulls off the road, so got an off track on that run. He'll be kicking himself for that after 2 purple sectors. Eloy Caballero then will be looking to move back up onto provisional pole position ahead of Quinton Verdonk in the Porsche. Cadillac makes the run to the line now. Davy van der Wacker can't improve on that run. Apologies, he does improve, but doesn't improve the position. Eloy Caballero to the line. It's green and yellow in the final sector, but it is an improvement. Just doesn't put him onto pole position, just tightens that front row even more as they pull away from the others. Matthias Viton then looking to get a better lap time in as well. And run to the line, pulls over, goes onto the front row by 0.005 of a second, missing out on provisional pole position. That's more what we're used to from the Dutchman.
Yeah, Matthias showing here why we said that his standards was a little bit higher, but remember Quinton Verdonk still have a purple sector 1 and sector 2 and a sector 3 that he didn't manage to squeeze out at the end. So he got some more time in him, so they're not done just because they're getting closer to him. Still need to push even more. But Eloy and Matthias now within a tenth of Quinton Verdonk's fastest time.
Yeah, it's closing up at the front. Liam de Kock as well is also on a lap time. He's not yet set a valid lap. He now has, it's a 1:26.750, so it puts him on the back row of the grid as it stands, but he'll just be pleased to have something on the board. Liam, of course, joining us in qualifying during the race after a difficult one last week, joined us for a bit of commentary, so big shout out to Liam for that and wish him good luck today, better than he had last week with that fairly huge crash and the bit of it we didn't see afterwards, which those of you who are in a Discord might have seen the clips where he managed to finally pit attenuator on his way in to try and fix the damage. So yellow sectors out there at the moment. Jeffrey Ross has gone green in sector 1. Carlos Ponce has just gone green in sector 2. In fact, he'll be looking to move ahead of Liam de Kock and Emre Kamaldar. That's the fight he's in at the moment, unless he can find some big improvement. Lots of drivers heading out with 3 minutes left on the clock for what will probably be their final runs of the day, with an out lap and a warm-up lap. And just be able to squeeze 2 in if you've got out by now. Carlos Ponce to the line in the Iridium Motorsports Cadillac. And it's an improvement, moves him ahead of those two we said he was fighting to P8. Remember, all pace in qualifying doesn't really matter much when we get into the wet race. Very, very different conditions that we're expecting to see. Jeffrey Ross is green and yellow. Liam de Kock just improved up to P7. Carlos Ponce got himself a black flag on his way out of the pit lane. Jeffrey Ross then to the line with his teammate now behind him on the grid. He'll be wanting to move further ahead than where he is at the moment, picking up a really, really nice toe to the line though, but he doesn't improve. He's quite a way down on what he's done previously, about 5 seconds, 8 seconds in fact, so maybe treating it more as a warm-up lap, and this will be his flyer. Still getting that mega toe from, I believe, that is Quinton Verdonk. He's getting that toe from him. He pulls off to the side of the road, resets. With 1:34, it'll be very, very tight for him to get out and do another lap. Depends on where he is in the pit lane, if we're being totally honest.
Yeah, it's not come out yet. He is on his way 120 now. I don't think he is going to make it. A little funny because I don't even think he got an outtake then in turn 1. So I'm not quite sure why he's
back out
he's
with
out, yeah, we'll
about a minute 50 on the clock. Depends when the racing session times out, but I tell you who's not happy about it is Emre.
Out of qualifying. Doesn't get his braking right in turn 1, it looks like, and has gone into the wall by himself. But he is out. Gonna have to settle for P2 as it stands currently. Yeah, Cabanero also in the pit lane. Top 3. Not gonna jinx anything, but looks to be settled. Quinton Verdonk really lucky that his 2 closest competitors have made mistakes.
Davy van der Vacker with the potential to put it a little bit further up, but he needs to find about 4 tenths. Well, he will need to find 4 tenths to move up any further on the grid. He's green in that middle sector. The yellow first sector is a couple tenths off what Matisse did on his last run. Can he improve Carlos?
Much faster than
the final sector though.
Really fast. Is it enough?
Well, gained 3 of the 4 tenths he needed. A mighty effort, and might have secured that P4, given we're not seeing much improvement behind. Emre Kamaldar comes across the line and does not improve. He was likely thrown off a little bit by what we saw in turn 1. And he didn't take the checkered flag actually, so he can carry on and finish this lap that he's on.
Yeah, only 4 competitors still out there. Jeffrey Ross, first one to cross the line of the 4. He's in the final sector. Trying to see, it's 2 yellow sectors. Not expecting any huge improvement here, but let's see. Maybe he has a purple sector and then as well for the final one. Crosses the line.
And he does improve and moves up ahead of Albert Breen, the championship contender. His teammate Liam de Kock is going to be next across the line, and he bails out to the pit lane. New Zealand knows there was no improvement coming, so decides he'll take a little bit of pit lane entry practice. Emery Kamaldar, the only driver still left to try and set a lap in this session. We can see the rain though. On camera there, the rain has arrived a couple of minutes earlier than we thought at the far end of the circuit, and it's wet out on track. He's got the windscreen wiper on, and you can see the spray, and there's not going to be any improvement anymore.
I think that's going to be it for.
And we can see, you can see there on the new zoomed in radar where the rain is hitting the track. So Quinton Verdonk will be your pole sitter by 5 thousandths to the returning Matthias Viton, Eloy Cabinero in P3, the top 3 all within a tenth of a second as we go into the wet race. Davy van der Vacker in P4, and we'll throw up the qualifying results to walk you through them in a little bit more detail. Okay, let's go through GT3 qualifying results overall then. Daniel Morphy in P1, Oriel Falk P2. There's 2 title contenders are reversed in championship order. Adam Jarvis P3, teammates Oriel Falk, maybe they can do something a little bit different and work together in the wet race. Ignas Vincereskis did qualify P4, but he's going to have to start in the pit lane due to an incident with Oriel Falk, an incident with Adam Jarvis actually, I believe, on the final flying lap. Matteo Batali will start then 4th. Alex Ott will start 5th. Dave Van Eck will start 6th. Yannick Gerards will start 7th. Sven Elmers will start 8th. Tejan Bloman will start 9th. Just saw a message pop up from race control, but we'll go through that in a moment. Michael Kellenberger will start 10th. Roman Zubair will start 11th. Marnik Heister will start 12th. Chris Van Ruwen will start 13th. Senna Bokhoven will start 14th. Mateo Lemeroy will start 15th. Mark Lopez will start 16th. And Jose Carlos Villarejo did not set a lap time. In fact, so did Mark Lopez. Don't even believe that they ran in that session. You can see the rain out on track. We'll run through GTP qualifying results very quickly. Quinton Verdonk is on pole position, like we just said, by 5 thousandths of a second to Matthias Viton, Eloy Cabinero P3, Davy van der Vacker P4, Jeffrey Ross P5, Albert Preen P6, Liam de Kock P7, Juanto Avale P8, Emery Kamaldar P9, and Carlos Pons in P10. Right, and just to throw those results off even more, we can confirm that there is a pit lane start for one of the GTPs. Emery Kamaldar has got a pit lane start for taking the checkered flag twice. Not quite sure how that's worked. Maybe that's from when Andy threw the checkered flag rather than the in-game checkered flag, but he was able to take the checkered flag twice. I'm just trying to work out where he qualified.
Right, everyone, as your weekly reminder, first of all, the GT3 pole sitter, we ask you to leave a gap more than 10 seconds to the hypercar field, given the weather conditions. Make that as big as you'd like it to be. Next, we will drive.
We lost Andy there at the end of that message.
Driver 305 in the hypercar class, as well as driver number 9 in the GT3 Pro class will be starting from the pit lane for various qualifying infractions.
Confirmation from the race director of what cars are starting in the pit lane, so we'll translate those numbers for you. That's Emre Kamaldar in the GTP class, and in the GT GT3 Pro class. That's Ignas Vincereskis. We can see Jeffrey Ross sliding around as he's setting some impressive sector times in this rain, but the car does not look very planted at all. You can see drivers hunting for these slightly drier bits of the track and running a little bit offline to try and find some grip on the road. Additional confirmation message from race control there. You can see where the rain's hitting the track on the map. It's mostly in the final section and the first half of the track. It's not dry, but it's not as wet as the rest of it, and that's going to be interesting in the race to see what happens when we arrive in that final sector.
No, we can try and take a look at the upcoming rain. It's not something that the drivers are going to look forward to. If you look down there in southeast, it looks very red, and very red. At the same time, it's going to be very, very spicy for these guys, and you can see just how much they're struggling to go out on track in these current conditions, and imagine that getting worse. It's not going to be very funny, especially not the GTPs, but that's how it is. That's what they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's where qualifying times in the dry doesn't really matter, and it doesn't convert into rain performance.
Yeah, we can see those bigger clumps heading in, and you can see now the green covering most of the racing surface and the yellow on that back end of the track. So definitely getting wetter, and that big yellow block will be over the track very, very shortly. I believe Emery Kamaldar is questioning race control on there. The checkered flag twice ruling, but can read the incident report from race control, which confirms that they crossed the line at 30 minutes and 9 seconds and 31 minutes and 35 seconds. So after race control had sent a checkered flag message. Why the penalty was handed out. We'll see who grids up quickly then. I think we might have a couple of drivers that I think we had a little bit of a time jump as well, by the way, which is why the track is maybe a little bit more wet than it was in warm-up. See what drivers choose to grid up quickly, and quite a few of the GT3s have already gridded up. Some people maybe want to hang around and make sure the tyres don't drop by sitting on the grid for too long. Windscreen wipers on every single car. Pole sitter Quinton Verdonk takes to the grid. Emery Kamaldar and Ignas Vincereskis will stay in the pit lane, as I'm sure we will see shortly. That does mean we're going to have to sit and wait for 2 minutes on the grid. Okay, making our way to the start then. Quinton Verdonk will lead the hypercars. The GC3s are quite a long way back, giving these guys plenty of breathing room, but I'm sure that is fine from race control's perspective. We're going to have a crazy turn one here. You can see the rain starting to pass away, so we're going to get a drier period to start this race, but I believe it will be very brief. Roman Dubert saying he wasn't able to make it to the grid. Safety car is in yet. Quinton Verdonk goes as they're under the bridge display there. That's a bit unfortunate. He's giving a very nice tow to Matthias Beighton, who's a couple of attempts back but has covered off the rest of the field. But no, that's Eloy Cabinero is going to try and get down the inside. With wrecked at the back with the two BMWs.
Maybe precisely even a third one there getting tangled. Gonna have to try and see. There's some fronts there being lost, but Quinton Verdonk leading here straight away. Lovely racing. Let's try and see GT3 start here as well, struggling some of these people in the red, trying to find traction, but there's nothing. Daniel Murphy, once again with a really nice start here. Going to be swarmed by some Ferraris in the background that's not looking into back. Oh, Porsche there losing
off in turn one, championship leader Oriol Falk drops way down the order as Emre Kamaldar came out in the middle of that pack as well. Daniel Morphy leads the field. He can't believe his luck. Adam Jarvis is right behind him. Oriol Falk is moving down in 8th in class. Emre Kamaldar's making their way through this field, but they've had an off as well already, trying to make their way through as quickly as possible. We're going to take a look at some of what's happened on the start once the field starts to spread out a little bit. Eloy Caballero fighting here with Davy van der Wacker, who's trying to make his way through, but equally Eloy trying to get past Albert Preem ahead. Down the inside, Davy van der Wacker to help his championship contending teammate, and there's contact in the final corner.
Looks like the 3 wide there for a brief moment into the final corner. That doesn't go.
Preem already on the radio as well, and it is under investigation from race control, as is an incident with a couple of GT3 cars further back that will go and view Matteo Lemroy there off as well. We're going to review all of this as soon as we can. Eloy Caballero, Albert Preem is back past him, but Eloy Caballero is going to try and go deep on the inside line, but he can't make it work. Championship rival scoots past him in turn 1, and then he's going to get past his teammate as well, it looks like, because there was a moment there for Davy van der Wacker on the exit. Got a couple of slow-moving GT3 cars at the back of the field as well. We'll take a look what's happening to them shortly. Adam Jarvis is all over Daniel Morphy. He needs to slow down his teammate's championship rival as much as he can, as well as score maximum points for himself. No rain on the radar as it stands in the zoomed-in radar, so we are going to get some running with the rain levels coming down. You can see a tiny bit of a dry line forming where every single car's been over the field, but trust me, that is not going to last for long. Instant for Ignas Vincereski to had that pit lane start. He's running further down the order. Marnix Heister and Jeffrey Ross both with meatballs from that earlier contact. Liam de Kock is continuing on. I don't believe he has been in the pits yet. No, apologies, he has been in the pits, and he towed to the pit lane. Incident for Emre Kamaldar again as well, further back. Liam de Kock also off again. We're going to go and review all of these incidents as soon as we can. That was a very crazy start, Ule.
Really, really crazy, especially with the GT3s taking each other out. I can see here on my my timetable where we also have all of the incidents. There's a lot going on here, a lot of contact, a lot of all tracks, 2 Rex's car control loss, but that's what we were expecting in these kind of conditions. And as just showed on the radar there's more to come. It's not over just because there's a little bit of breathing room for these guys, and it's still insanely wet out there. You can just see how much spray there is. Matthias Weiden in the current picture, P2. Right behind him, it's Albert Preem that can't see anything. I'll promise you that if you go to on board with him, it's very, very difficult to see where you're going and try and go for a move at the same time. And then I'm just looking forward to this traffic. It's going to be something else.
It's going to be very interesting when these guys catch a back of GT3s. We saw, those of you that have been with us for a little bit longer, Matthias Weiden led the entire race here in, I believe, a Season 5 opener, only to crash on the last lap and lose the win. So he'll be looking for a little bit of payback for that. Daniel Morphy, you've seen the timing boards go a little bit wonky there because Dave Van Eck has just set the fastest lap of all to go quicker in GT3 AM than the GT3 Pro drivers do. Let's take a look at the incident on lap 1 then, into turn 1. Looking at the 2 BMWs there, so Jeffrey Ross a long way ahead of his teammate actually, and is just going to back off very early into turn 1 it looks like, and his teammate's not going to see him coming. That was very, very unfortunate. Let's take a look at it from Liam's perspective, and we'll go on board just to give you an idea of how he cannot see a single thing. Yeah.
No.
And that is why that incident is under investigation from race control. Let's take a look what happened to Oriol Falk then, the championship leader on the outside of his teammate here, going into turn 1. Trying to make it work Around the outside. Oh, and that's Yannick Gerard's in the background getting all loose on the brakes and going bowling and taking the championship leader with him. We've got a couple more to flick through as well. What happened to Emre Kamaldar? They came out of the pack, out of the pit lane, in amongst the cats that are the GT3s. Going to try and go down the inside here. And he's going to go down the inside and then got on the curb too much and is all over the place. That's a 10-second time penalty for Yannick Gerard for that incident that we just saw. This is what happened to Marnix Heister, who is now out of the race in the Soul Lamborghini. Coming through.
Looking up the inside.
Oh, and then there's just contact on the exit.
They get spun around. Lucky not to take anybody with him. There's a lot of cars coming through at the same time.
There's another incident for Ignis Insureskis. He just goes deep in that rain and is struggling for grip in that McLaren. He's going to loop it around here in this off-camber corner. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Our slide and keeps it pointing in the right direction very impressively.
Incredible save, yeah.
Another incident for Emre Kamaldar. This looks like it's going to be going into turn 1. Emre has now passed all of the GT3 field. And just spins into turn 1.
Just a bit slippery. It's the same Gerard figured out.
This is Oriel Falk trying to get back past, I assume, Yannick Gerard's. And please don't be more contact between the two cars. Oh, and it is. Oriel will not be very happy at all with that incident. I believe that is also under investigation. Race control. Van Ruwen and Senna Bokhoven are going to have something into turn 1 as well. We are still playing catch up. We'll be back to live images shortly. Or is it even going to be with Senna? I'm not sure that it is. All on his own deep into turn 1 and loses the rear in the low grip conditions and does then collide with Senna in the end. Another incident for Oriel Falk as the rain appears to have increased out on track. Hunting for grip behind Matteo Lemire. It's going to try and go down the inside. And just loses it on the slippy stuff. Okay, back to live images. We'll take you through a couple of replays shortly, but there's a lot going on track at the moment. Liam de Kock is trying to make his way back through the field. We can see the intensity of the rain on the dashboard of some of these drivers. Albert Preem backing off a little bit. Look at the spray on the straight. This is orange rain now. We'll put that radar back up on screen for you. We're in deep heavy rain here. Really big risk of aquaplaning in these kinds of conditions, but that's not going to stop anyone in this race. Davy van der Vack has been off as well in the rain. Incident between Preem and Caballero declared a racing incident, and another incident between Falk is declared a racing incident. Coming through very quickly from race control. No, that's that second incident with Falk and Gerard's under investigation. All people off.
That one.
Lohman off and Lemire off as well, I believe.
Touch on the AM Championship leader. See what happens here.
Oh, tagged in the back.
In the background by the 51 car. See what that is. That is a fellow AM class Michael Kienberger. Could imagine there's a little bit of a penalty coming for him there.
Matteo off as well.
Himself, Matteo Lemire is at the same car as we just see here. Touch on the trying to pull away.
And they're free wide on the straight as a leader now is making his way through, as is Albert Preem behind, trying to make his way through the field. Sven Elmers and Alex Ott side by side. Going into turn 1 with Albert Preem, championship leader, trying to make his way through as well, pulling out of the spray to even see what's going on. The brake lights barely visible of the cars in front. I think we're going to see people pulling out of tow just to get some clean air. Matthias Vuyten on the move for Quinton Bedonk. He's going to try and go around the outside into turn 3, and he's already passed So was there a mistake there for Quinten Verdonk in turn 1? It seems as though there probably was, to lose a little bit of time, struggling with traction in these conditions. Mateus seems to be on it. He's going to try and pull away now.
Look into the incident on my last lap.
Blowman asking that incident to be looked at that we saw where he was tagged in the rear. Like you said, he's a championship league. Apologies, everybody. A little bit of a misclick there to show you a stream ending screen. Stream is definitely not ending. A couple of things been declared a racing incidents and a couple more being put under investigation there by race control. We'll have a full run through of penalties at the end of the race if there are any that affect the order. And loose on the curb there for Quinten Verdonk as he tries to catch back up to the leader. They've got a bit of a break in the conditions now.
Matthias Weisen already putting over almost 2 seconds on Quinten Verdonk after having just passed him. It's almost been a lap here, as we saw when they were coming down the stage. He was half a second behind Quinten, and now it's 1.8 roughly as we come down here. And then P3 Albert Priem's right behind. Okay, he's a bit further back. No, that is the gap to the leader. Sorry, 2.8 seconds. So he's less than a second away from Quinten Verdonk. It's where the strip team starts to play in, but it's also where the spray starts to intense. And you start to not being able to see anything. But the different line here from Albert Priem takes it a bit further out into turn 1. He catches not that much on Quinten, but stays within Usman safe.
Van der Vakke
and Davy Van der Vakke.
Yeah, these guys have been dueling out all lap, and I think this is Davy finally getting by. Oh, he's going to get pinched in behind the GT3. No, finds a gap. 3 wide.
3 wide there. It's,
and I don't think it's over because he's through. But given the fact there's more messages coming up on the race control software for these two, it's really not going to be over. And it's not. He's going to go try and go down the inside once again. Not working this time. Absolutely incredible fighting from these two. But Davey is now back behind. No, sorry, he is still ahead, but still running very close. Let's go back to live images, and we can watch these two duel it out.
Yeah, really difficult to try and manage GT3 traffic and rain at the same time, having to defend from Jan Thorvald. It's a really difficult task to do. So I see Matthias Weiden increasing his gap, setting purple lap time here, so the best of everybody, 2/10 faster than Quinten Verdonk, and Albert Priem dropping a little bit, 3 seconds down now for Matthias Weiden. Gap actually oscillates a little bit between 1.8 and 2 seconds between those two. As we look a bit further down, Dave van Eck and GT3 AM first place, 7.8 seconds ahead of Sven. So incredible racing for him is helped a little bit by Ted Sean having an incident, as we saw earlier, being spun around by Dave van Eck, I believe it was.
Overtake here for Oriol Fogg on Ignas Vincereski's, both drivers who had incidents on lap 1. And the championship leader makes his way back past another car on his fight back to the front in this rained out race at Suzuka. I said Suzuka. Apologies everybody watching on the broadcast. This is Fuji.
It's the same. It's the correct country.
Varley still all over the back of Davy Van der Vakke. Oh, and Davy's wide there. This is going to put Avale right on the back of him. And we can see it getting cloudier again as the rain starts to get closer to the circuit.
See here again, Ovale, a little bit of tighter line here to the final corner. Quinten Verdonk actually with a fastest lap time, 34.7. So he's starting to find a little bit of pace out there as the track dries up just a teeny tiny bit. As we see on the radar, it is a clear for rain at least. It's not clear on track, as we can also see from the sprain here from Van der Vakke.
Let's take a look at what happened to Adam Jarvis, struggling out here in the rainy conditions. He was right on the back of Daniel Morphy just a couple of laps ago, but he's lost a few places due to what is looking like it's going to be a mistake here. Gets on the curb, which maybe unsettled the rear of the car, and it spins back round, but he is moving again, and he's running currently in P4 in class. Oh, and nearly contact though on the rejoin. That'll be under investigation by race control fairly shortly, I imagine. These two still going at it. Closest battle we've got on track at the moment, apart from these two who are dueling it out as well. It's never ending here today.
Alex Todd and Matteo Battaglia, I believe that's also for the championship. No, actually not. Alex Todd is all the way down in ninth, but Matteo Battaglia is in third place, really close to... yeah, he was the one I was talking about earlier, 8 points away from Daniel Murphy, who is actually leading, so it's not going to be getting P2 today unless Daniel Murphy makes a huge mistake. 8 seconds between the two as it stands at the moment, but could decrease the gap to Oriol Folt, who is not having the best race of his career. 7th position. It's also not the worst, I could imagine. Could be significantly worse. Could be.
No, could have got a lot more damage.
Gaston was also battling for a championship lead. It's not that far away.
Yeah, it could have been a lot further away as well. He's not too far off the back of his rivals there, as Tedjan Bloemen's gone around once again.
Yeah, he's in a completely different championship, but he's also leading it.
Running down in fourth now, 16 seconds off the next car in his class is not ideal for Tedjan Bloemen. Let's take a look at how he went around. Looks like it's going to be all on his own as well.
Coming into the final sector.
The car is really squirming all over the place.
Kind of these corners here. Really struggling. It is a difficult. Yeah, just loses the rear.
Oh no!
Doesn't hold his brakes and punts. Yeah, I want to say that it's Oriol. I think it's no. Folt,
that is Folt. Yeah.
I believe it was. Yeah, Ignis in front of him right now.
Yeah.
Oh, in this replay at least. Yeah, so that explains the bump that he, the damage that he has to his nose. That puts him in fourth place. Oh, and who's that? That's Carlos Ponce, 7th position, but he's into the wall. Loses the front.
He can tend to drive a Cadillac weirdly without the nose if you haven't damaged the suspension too much, but he has got a meatball. So there must be some suspension damage on there as well, so he's going to try and drag it back to the pit lane and use his fast repair to keep going in the race.
Looks like it is still drivable.
Oh.
Turning just a little bit here with the car completely off the track, but
he's also needs to make sure he stays out the way of any other cars, or we'll see him get a penalty if race control deem him to be driving the car in an unsafe condition, an unsafe manner.
Seems like he's doing a great
Adam
job.
Adam Jarvis trying to make his way back through the field. They avoid the slow car on the outside of Carlos Ponce, but he's trying to make his way back past some of these drivers and get back on the podium. He's just a 10th now behind Alex Hart. I think we're going to see a move into turn 1 here. He's dropped back a little bit. No, he hasn't. Sorry, he's incredibly close. I was getting the Porsche behind mixed up with Jarvis, who's going to go down the inside, looking to make up for that mistake earlier on. You can see some more cars in front, but they're AM cars. He's now got a 5-second gap to bridge to catch back up to Matteo Battaglia, and he's 16 nearly seconds off the lead as well.
Forcing Alex Hart on the racing line there, but the rules of turn now. He's now on the racing line, the rubber part of the circuit. He's managed to get in front of that. But that was also one of the drivers that really is in the mix for some very, very good decisions in the GT3 Pro category. So it's really important for him to get past here and try and keep the nose pointing in the right direction. Seems to also be having some nice pace, catching up on the Matteo Battaglia, 10 seconds ahead. Let's get a replay here from Liam de Cook, who's also in a lot of GT3 traffic.
I think we're going to see some sort of instant into turn 1.
Might just be on his own, yeah. loses Sevilla.
Oh, as Tejan Blowman does the same.
A tandem spin, if you will, but he's not the first one, or they are not the first one to lose Sevilla. It's just a testimony to how difficult these conditions are to drive in.
That incident is under investigation, those two spins, but I think race control perhaps don't realise that they're not related to each other. They both span on their own.
It's going to be lovely for the highlights. A little bit of a drizzle here on the track, as we see on the radar. Some green coming on the on sector 2 and sector 3. Most of sector 1 seems to be cleared.
What was that from Yannick Gerard's then? That was really bizarre. Let's take a look at what happened a few minutes ago, because Yannick Gerards has got past Alex Ott after we saw Adam Jarvis get through. He's also gotten through, and he's just got a lot more confidence on those brakes into that section where the chicane normally sits, and he's got through very easily. And then he had that weird incident that we saw on the first start-finish straight. The rain coming down then, you can see it on the screens. More time penalties being handed out by race control today for unsafe rejoins. We've seen a couple of them now. Mateus dominating out front as he makes his way through the GT3 traffic once again.
It must have been the one that he had with, was it, I don't know, who was it, Albert Prim? I believe he punted a little bit as he was rejoining over in turn 4. I think it was Matthias Weiden, P1, putting even more lap time on Christopher Dunk after he actually had some pretty fast laps as well. Albert Prim here, P3, not that far away, but he has GT3 in the way that it just doesn't move for him. He doesn't move neither, but he's ahead now onto this very, very, very long straight. He's fighting. Looks like he's lost a little bit of lap time there.
This is Sven Elmers trying to make his way past Matteo Ubertali to move up onto the overall podium in the AM car. Can't find a way by though.
You can see from this long line that we had on the straight just how little you can actually see. It's just full of spray for the entire kilometer. Just about that the straight is.
Yeah, the AM driver's really mixing it up today. Daniel Morphy in the overall lead is a pro driver, but then Dave Van Eck in P2 is an AM. Sven Elmers running P4 is an AM. Michael Kellenberger running P5 is an AM. And then we've got a load of pros after that. But they're really mixing it up as he goes down the inside and there's contact between the two cars. Really, really bizarre incident there as Sven Elmers tried to go down the inside. They both kept it going in a straight line, but that's put him on the defensive against Michael Kellenberger behind. Does he defend? Doesn't need to.
Yeah, in the same class as you mentioned, P4 and P5. Overall, that's really well done by these two AM drivers.
Sven Elmers now back on Matteo Ubertali once again. He's looking to make his way through. He couldn't find a gap last time. The door was closed, but he's alongside pretty much now into the final corner, and he's going to get his way through. It looks like fairly confidently, and the battle will continue on down the straight.
Yeah, but look there in the background, Killenberger had a really, really nice exit, and now also has double drafting from the cars, so he might be able to take both into turn 1 if the pink
Ubertali will need to commit
too much.
But yeah, David van der Wacker ruining the party. And that puts Sven Elmers on the back foot out of turn 1 though. Matteo Ubertali is going to attack once again, I think. But more so, he's going to be under attack actually. Dave Van Eck looking to attack. Sorry, not Dave Van Eck. Michael Kellenberger looking to attack, but can't make it work.
Really close to that.
I think he's going to have a go here, actually, coming out of the big curve.
Looks like he'll have to if he wants to catch up to his classmate.
Ubatali defends well.
Almost.
Got a couple of drivers pitting further back as well. Matisse has just been off track, but he's back on track. Not really lost much time. Well, it's just ticked down about a second actually, so a bit of a delay on the timing tower there, it looks like. Michael Kernberger on the back foot once again. Still the closest battle we've got on track though, and he's not going to give up too easily.
Well, Dave Van Egg isn't that much further behind Daniel Murphy, neither 8-10 separating a P1M with P1 Pro for the overall GT3 lead. Phenomenal day for the M guys, showing that for some reason they're really good in the rain. Also helped out a little bit by the spins we saw in the beginning. But let's not take too much away from them. Ignace here, under pressure from Roman Duba.
Yeah, really closed up. Took 6 attempts out of him in Sector 2, and he's going to go on the attack into Turn 1, surely. 26 minutes in, like I just said, we've had people pit, but remember, normally we need 2 stops, but normally it's pretty marginal to you being able to do it on a 1 stop, and I think we'll see a couple of drivers try and do the 1 stop while they're using a lot less fuel in the rain. Dubert can't make it work into Turn 1, doesn't quite have the straight line speed to get past a McLaren. Can he make something work into Turn 4 perhaps? No, can't find a way by. He's going to have to look for a mistake from the McLaren. Gap at the lead has come down a little bit, but not loads. Cream also closed down a little bit last lap on Quinton.
Just staying at the same 1 point in. It's been like that ever since Matthias got past. What is it, like 10 minutes ago now? To be roughly at the same pace. Equal cars though, both driving the Porsche.
Down the inside, Roman Dubert on Matteo Batali. Not Matteo Batali, sorry, that's on Ignas Vincereskis, who made a mistake a couple of corners prior, and that's cost him. That's cost him greatly. Got the Cadillac now trying to make his way through as well. Can Ignas let him through without losing too much time and perhaps use this as a way to attack on the car in front? I think that position might be lost for Ignas. He's struggling to get back by. Michael Kernberger hits from the front of GT3 AM. Well, I think he was running P3, but essentially the front of GT3 AM. And he's going to pit with 28 minutes gone in the race. I think he'll try and make it to the end still. Van Eck still trying to make his way past Morphy.
There's a lot of rain on the way. As we can see on the way, there's a little bit of a dry period after this shower, but then there's a lot of green and then a little bit of blue as well, so that's gonna pull down the lap times and gonna lower the fuel consumption as well. It's gonna be difficult for drivers also to try and estimate how long a tank can last. 28 minutes. It seems a little too short for one stop, but doesn't it?
Yeah, Albert Preem just pit as well, so that's 29 minutes. So, yeah, we had the short formation here as well, so we didn't use an awful amount of fuel on the formation lap. So, I think it will be difficult to make it. I think these guys can probably make it who've gone one extra lap, so Preem will have to consider that, as will Van der Vacker. But look at this battle up front. Vincent Verdonk now within 7 tenths of Matisse as they come into this really, really wet section here, where we can see the rain really coming down on the second half of this lap. making their way into the final sector. I wonder if Matthias has just backed off a bit to make sure he can make it to half race distance, or if he's really struggling now in these conditions. We saw him be really quick early on when the rain came down, but I wonder if he's just using a bit too much of his wet tyres. We know the GTP can be a little bit of a handful in these conditions, as Verdonk is practically pushing him through the final couple of corners. Do either of them dive for the pit lane? Quinton Verdonk pulls out, but I don't know if it's going for the pit lane or for the overtake. It's for the pit lane, it looks like. Oh, GT3 in front of him hits the wall on the way into the pit lane. Do they both make it into the pit lane safely? Yes, they do. Let's take a look at what happened to Carlos Villarrejo there.
Yeah, Verdonk didn't look like he got too interrupted there, but Carlos, yeah.
Turns in a bit early.
On the braking.
Yeah, something's gone wrong now. It was really
Seems
bizarre.
like it. Should still have a free repair though, so it's not gonna hurt him too much.
We saw Matisse be good at this in the past, making the fuel last, and he's made it past half race distance. And every lap he goes now means a little bit less fuel is needed in the tank to make it to the end. And that means a shorter stop. Davy van der Vack has had a bit of a moment, I think, as well. Can I get eyes on that if we can? Here we go.
Yeah, we also, of course, we don't know how much. Yeah, as we see Van der Vack going off the track here, but we don't know how much fuel saving they're doing on the way. You can do pretty significant amount of fuel saving into the braking zones that doesn't necessarily cost you a lot of lap time, but does show when you go into the pits to take your fuel, and that's why some of these drivers are able to make it past the 30-minute mark. We see quite a lot of GT3 drivers that's going in just now who should be able to make it with just a one stopper here. Do doubt some of the first ones that went in after 29 minutes, but they can also still do a lot of fuel saving that we don't know if it is just about a single lap of Albert Preen there. Lifting the rear a little bit, locking up the left front as well. But like, nice catch.
Adam Jarvis has inherited the lead in GT3. That's due to the nature of it. He's not pitted yet, and most of his other rivals have, including Daniel Morphy, who's now running P2. Albert Preen was within a second of Quinton Verdonk, but has lost time on this lap to the nature of a second, actually.
But they will also just be coming out with just a little bit less fuel, right? As we only have 32 minutes left now. They should not have to use a full tank. So it also just helps a little bit, but yeah, the distance between some of these drivers were quite significant. So I'm not sure how much it's going to matter.
Yeah, Matisse was just in the pit lane, and I'm not sure if he's moving or not yet. Yes, he is, as Quinton Verdonk comes out and past the pit lane exit, but Matisse is already gone 3 seconds up the road. So actually pulled out a gap on that previous lap to his rival.
4 drivers under investigation for an incident. Not sure if you saw the replay of that one.
I'm trying to find it now. Oriol Folt trying to make his way past Matteo Ubertali and is going to dive down the inside. Oriol Folt, though, is, I believe, on a very high number of incident points, very close to getting a drive-through, and that'll be an automatic drive-through, so he needs to be really, really careful how he threads his way through the field here. And he's done so nicely. Just got a few more to work on now.
He's got 17 incident points that sustains right now. Of course, helped in the beginning by spinning, but yeah, 17. I'm not quite sure what our limit is.
I think it's 18.
Yeah, it's around there.
They can't afford anything else. Sven Elmers on the defensive against Michael Kallenberger, who's made a bit of a comeback. He dropped off the back of these guys a few laps ago before the pit cycle. Adam Jarvis comes out the pit lane just behind these guys as well.
Bit wide there from Kallenberger. Allowing Sven Elmers to come back, and then there's not much to do coming into this corner here. Depending on how close he is, you could go for move up the inside in turn 4. So I see Kallenberger really close here too. Sven almost can't really see anything with the spray. It is decreasing though, but it is still interrupting your vision. You can see here lots of spray on your windscreen screen. That is less than ideal.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't look as bad on the replay cameras as it does when you're driving the car.
Now when you're trying to concentrate and you're already swearing a little bit at the track conditions, it's not something that you want.
Kellenberger looks really confident on the brakes. Making his way through here. It was starting to once again brighten up and dry up a tiny bit, but the rain's coming down again in this final sector. Takes a slightly different line to Sven Elmers ahead, and Sven seems to have gotten a fairly decent exit here. We're going to see the worst of the spray that they get all lap here.
This is also where you start to not being able to see much more than the rear light in front of you.
He's picking up a mega toe here though. I think he's maybe going to have a look into turn 1 at least.
Really close, yeah, into turn 1. Not that confident that he goes on up the inside into turn 1 with this kind of gap, so stays behind here. Sven will have to look at the rear end of that Porsche just a little longer. Okay, let's try and see if he can get it closer. He was more confident on the braking, as you said, into turn 12. I don't know if it's turn 4, turn 5, the left-hander that we have after this one. Ooh, GTP around the outside. There's also going to be interrupting Sven. Sven defending from the GTP, it looks.
And that really put Kellenberger offline there, actually, as I believe that's Liam, and then that is that a race leader as well? Matthias Weidsen trying to make his way through and trying to lap some traffic there.
It's great tickets that we are getting here, Matthias Weidsen, yeah.
Is allowed through on the blue flagged car.
Dealing with a lot of traffic. So you have a Vandervaag in the background there. No, Verdonk, sorry. Quinten Verdonk 1.5 seconds behind.
And Falk now on the back of Kellenberger as well.
P2. So will Falk trying to look here. Yeah, he has had a pit stop.
Not sure when that pit stop was.
He of course, as we mentioned earlier, he's on 17 incident points. I haven't had one since last saw him, but
he did his pit stop.
He's P2 now. He's down to P7.
Yeah, he did his pit stop 17 minutes into the race, so he will need another one to get to the end, I believe.
Yeah, that's not gonna help him. Okay, so he's a little bit by the other people also having pitted. Eli Cabanero there with the fastest lap, 34.4.
In the cock getting a black flag there, but that is for an incident limit breach.
But funny to see the Quinten Verdonk and Matthias Weidsen keeping a pretty similar gap between them. And it's increasing and decreasing just by a couple of hundreds. So I think that some part of these circuits where they find something that the others don't, and then of course it reverses in other sectors. It's really funny. Also, of course, GT3 traffic not helping Verdonk here, and not helping Matthias Weidsen when he has to go through it to begin with. Quinten Verdonk being forced around the outside of Dave Vanek. Not ideal for GTP driver, but made it through cleanly. Dave Vanek, P1, currently still leading the GT3 and 14 seconds.
Yeah, we missed this. We missed this move off camera. This is Dave Van Eck taking the overall lead in GT3 as an AM driver, stealing it off of Daniel Morphy. Mega move there down the inside.
What a way to do it. Really selling the dummy, and well, it doesn't sell the dummy, but throws the anchor really late. So yeah, sells it a little bit that he wants to go to the right, and then dives up the inside. Really lovely move.
Really committed. That takes the lead of GT3 overall while driving an AM car. Very, very impressive.
What a statement to make as an AM driver. Just toying around with the pros, showing that they're nothing to him other than 3 letters in a class. P1 pulling away a little bit. It's still Dan Murphy is still reasonably close, and there's nothing on the live for Daniel Murphy other than his ego being behind an AM driver. No, gotta stop here. Sven being caught up by Mikkel Kellenberger once again. Fight for P3 in the class. Oyo, is that Oyo fourth there? Battling as well to get a replay of Oyo fourth.
Yeah, looks like he got past Adam Jarvis, but actually that was on pit exit, as we just see there.
And not much of a spin going on there, so it's just an overtake. And pit 30.
Dave Van Eck and Daniel Morphy just in a world of their own so far this race. They've managed to pull about 14 seconds, 15 seconds on the pack behind them. Very, very impressive. As Davey van der Backer slides his way up the inside of Michael Kallenberger and puts him offline. He defends well against Oriel Falk behind, who still has another pit stop to make it to the end of this race, we believe. Given that, though, he's done very well to fight back after the lap 1 incident that he had, and then I believe another one a couple of laps later. Falk looking for the move, but not giving right now. Doesn't quite have a straight line speed advantage he needs on that Porsche. The Serene is coming down all around the track now.
But does go up the inside here. Does he make it past here? Looks like he has cleared Beacon Kellenberger. So now does he come back? Kellenberger? No, he settles for position behind Oriel Falls. Also in 2 different classes, so they don't have to fight too much. Would be silly to lose the position because you want to be ahead. Somebody that does want to be ahead, Young Sol Valle, P6, battling it out with Van der Facker. 6/10 between the two.
Yes.
4/10, sorry, between the two.
Yeah, he's been gaining
Coming
lap
in
after lap. It took 6 attempts out of him in the last lap alone, and looks to have done a fairly similar job so far this lap as well. But he's dropped back a little bit here coming into this section, but they make their way through the traffic. And if Juan Valley can't get past his GT3, no, that's really going to affect his line down the straight. Knocks him off. Kellenberger not giving up, sticking to the back of Oriel Falk. Patel Emre has gotten past has gotten past Van Ruin. Oh, and Van Ruin was on the side of the road already. So let's take a look what happened to Van Ruin. Oh, just no grip on that wet surface.
First of all, yeah, but not that hot.
Everyone's settling in now a little bit. Carlos Ponce is off the road in turn 1. Everyone's settling in a little bit now.
Nice to see him with the front again.
Yeah, after that big hit he had into the wall earlier on.
So it's starting to dry up a little bit, as we see on the radar as well. Can also just see the spray is not right. It is still there, definitely, but it's not as big as it has been. But still tricky to condition. Has been tricky conditions ever since we left the qualifying session. Started in the practice as BMW there goes completely off the track. But we see it all the time, right? It's people just spinning on their own. And that's why it is so difficult. You're not just fighting the other guys on track. You're fighting the car and the conditions all the time and have to adapt. On 1 second there's grip, and then the next one you can't do those 4 or 5 kilometers per hour extra through a corner, as Ted Chamblowman proves that.
Got on
He proves that. I think the curb isn't a great idea on the entry.
Liam
keeps
de
it
Kock a long way off
pretty
here as he
right
comes
direction.
back onto the circuit.
Pretty nice to leave. Yeah, keep the cock. Does he spin then?
Looks like he's gonna have another incident. Yeah.
Yeah. Just uses severe there. Looks like he might have been braking a bit too early.
Oh,
Oh!
Carlos Ponce and Liam de Kock both with damage in turn 1. Take a look at what happened here. Carlos Ponce making his way through the traffic. That's Michael Kellenberger, Oriel Fox. Sven Elmers is the next guy who's going to make his way by. Liam de Kock, I believe that's him. A couple of car lengths back, so I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen here. Oh! Liam de Kock, not
Loss
sure
of
what happened there
braking
at
from
all.
The 27, yeah. Liam de Kock. Really bizarre incident. Does he just lock up? Yeah, he locks up.
locks the rears.
And then there's, just aquaplanes through turn 1.
Let's take a look.
Looks like he
from
breaks way too late.
Chopper cam if we can.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's the wrong incident.
I just complimented his front. Carlos Ponce. I'm sad to see him lose it again.
Yeah, he did. He took it personally.
No quick repair this time.
Looks, yeah, there must be some sort of brake failure.
Yeah, I think he just tries to brake a bit later than some of these GT3s.
Oh, you should see the snap as soon as he gets on the brakes.
Yeah, the snap to the left there locks up. And there's nothing for him to do. There's that is just a driving error. And unfortunately, Carlos Ponce is on some of the receiving ends. I mean, the receiving end would be the wall there. Albert Priem Pre3. A quite calm race for Albert Priem. I've not noticed him too much. He's gaining a little bit on Quinton Verdonk now within just about a second away from Quinton, who has had a pretty nice race. Oh, being squeezed there, young Sorvale.
Yeah, Vale trying to go around the outside, and that's not going to work. Unfortunately, that's led him to drop off the back a little bit. And got an incident we can, an oversight we can look at. Sorry, Oriel Falk has made his way past Sven Elmers, who just went off the track, and Kellenberger's going to get through as well, more importantly, in the AM class. And I believe these guys are still battling it out, actually. Sorry, got the wrong cars on screen. Here we go. So Falk now back past ahead of Kellenberger, but both ahead of Sven Elmers.
Yeah, but just about. He's still there. He's had a little bit of an incident. I'm sure he's.
Let's take a look at this. They've been dueling it out for about half a lap.
Yeah. A little difficult to see where we are on track here. I think we're coming to turn 2. No, penultimate corner, maybe? No.
I would just come out of the big turn.
Yeah. What I keep calling turn 4. And
Oriel
Kellenberger comes back. Does he go up the inside here then? I think he's close enough. Oriel defending from Kellenberger.
Kellenberger sensed an opportunity there, but
Oriel Fox, yeah. Oriel Fox keeps looking in the rearview mirror and just screams at them to leave him alone. He just wants to catch up to the other pro drivers. Just wants to find these same guys.
Yeah, he wants to break away and build as much of a buffer he can before he makes that second pit stop, which he is now making. But we'll continue to watch this battle because
that we have here in the background as well, just following this little train.
Falk goes defensive.
I think it is Super Tali, yeah.
And Falk goes into the pit lane, in fact. So
yeah, so that's a second. Yeah, it lines up with what you said. He pitted after 17 minutes, so we have 10 minutes after the session, so we're 49 minutes in. 49 minutes.
Albert Priem off the road.
throws away his P3. He was catching
As
up to
is Sven
Christopher
Elmers in the
Dunn just a
background. Has
minute
there
ago.
been contact between the two of them? I believe there has. Let's take a look at what happened. Albert Preem, championship contender off the road, as is Sven Elmers in the GT3 AM category.
Please check my accident.
Preem on the radio, asking for it to be looked at. He's going to try and go down the inside of Elmers, who gets loose
Oi.
and takes the hypercar with him.
Sven loses the rear a little bit there on exit of the corner. He still, remember, it's a very long left here, so he goes on the throttle and has to pick up the pace to keep up with the Kellenberger, and then he loses the rear a little bit and hits up a Preem that's coming up the inside as he tries to correct it. That's at least what it looks like. We have the onboard here.
He's going to get on a puddle somewhere, isn't he?
Kellenberger also being compromised, so he's going to be a little more throttle happy. It's just a slight snap that he could easily have corrected, but then unfortunately he has a GTP on the inside that tags him, as he, of course, he's gonna want to go out a little bit. Albert Preem, I don't think it's gonna come a penalty of this, but let's see what race controls figure out. Albert Preem's
On a
goes
mission.
in right in front of the nose of Upatali, and now clears Kellenberger a lap after the incident. So haven't been compromised too much, but he is down to P4, 9 seconds behind Eloy Cabanero, and most likely have thrown away any chance of getting P2 on this Quinton Verdonk. Loses the car at some point.
Oh, this is Adam Jarvis getting past Sven Elmers, but that's why.
After the incident, where Adam Jarvis capitalizes on the incident, yeah.
And Matteo Batali getting by, but there's also the
As
same
well,
incident there. Yeah. Looking out well for quite a lot of drivers who were stuck behind those two in various classes.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people, last of them, Kellenberger, who has even less pressure now.
Yeah, Dave Van Eck still leading in GT3 as well. The AM driver, 2 AMs on the overall podium at the moment. Michael Kellenberger holding on to that P3, but if Matteo Ubatelli gets past him, then it'll just be Dave Van Eck, the lone AM driver, on track for a podium finish.
Yeah, quite comfortable as well, by 2.2 seconds in front of Matteo Batali. Well, it's not completely sitting at home in your couch watching TV comfortable, but it is sitting on a chair.
Quinton Verdonk is flying at the moment. He's a little bit slow on the last lap, but he's just set an overall best Sector 1. So really, really pushing to try and close that gap to the leader.
He's been gaining a lot. 1.5 now is up to about 3 seconds when we saw Albert Preem have this incident. Comes back past Vincent. Not Vincent, sorry.
Vincereskis.
Yeah, I was really, keep forgetting.
Vincereskis, who'd just been off track for a little trip off the road, so let's see how that happened. Ooh, got on the curb a little bit unsettled and did the sensible thing and went straight.
Yeah, does well not to rejoin right in front of Quinton Verdonk.
Absolutely, Quinton Verdonk takes another chunk out of the leader in the middle sector, but then loses a little bit of time in the final sector. He's starting to get into the spray bit here. At that pro podium as well, Adam Jarvis is trying to get into P2 ahead of Matteo Ubertali, which would boost his chances today. Let's take a look at what just happened to Van Ruin, who's already in that damaged McLaren. Oh, just a little bit too quick and on the curb, yeah.
Ooh, doesn't lock his brakes neither.
Yeah, Alex Alt moves up a...
Fortunately, hits the wall.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of drivers getting on the curb by mistake here today. And, oh, there's Quinton Verdonk jumps the curb as we say that.
Didn't look like a mistake.
Quinton Verdonk closing in on Matthias Whiten. He's taken another 4 attempts out of him so far this lap, that he's now within a second.
No, but there's yeah, as you say, there's some curbs that you can use, and then there's other that really penalize you. And that's a fine line, and what you have to try and figure out when you go out there, you have a little bit of time where the track is a bit more clear because we have these showers, and then the curbs clear as well over time, and then you can start using them just a little bit more, and then other times you have as a touch and blown figure it out, just go a little bit on the curb and try and brake, and you're just sent off spinning. Quinton Verdonk also has a little moment here into turn 1, but there are some curbs that you can also, I wouldn't say brake on, but you can use them, this one, and you can go on the exit of them without them hurting you too much, as Quinton demonstrated.
He lost a little bit of time to Matisse, so yeah.
I think it's from the turn 1 spin he had.
Yeah, you have to say that though, Matisse had a purple sector 1 as well, so really carried a lot of speed down that straight, as we saw.
Yeah, 5 seconds faster than Quinton had. 26.2 compared to 26.4.
Yeah, really great race so far for Dave Van Eck as well. He's nearly 19 seconds now clear of Michael Kellenberger in P2, and it may look deceiving because Dave Van Eck is leading overall, but these guys are also 19 seconds clear of the next pro car. So Michael Kellenberger running P3 overall, so mega pace today from Daniel Morphy and Dave Van Eck to pull away from the field. And also mega pace from Oriel Falk all day, but due to that incident, he's a little bit further down than the rest of the field. But Daniel Morphy and Dave Van Eck have been in a world of their own today. And as we see, I think that's Fanto Vale off in the background. Daniel Morphy will probably want to win overall, though, for his own pride, but Dave Van Eck will definitely fight for this one, I imagine. He's got 18 seconds worth of time behind, so if he has a bit of an off, plenty of time to recover. Jarvis is pressuring Ubertali though. Now, well, just dropped within a second a moment ago, just dipped outside again now.
I think actually, I'm looking at the standings here. If it stays as it is right now, I think that Daniel Murphy just about is going to be able to get onto P1 in the championship. We'll fourth, 104 points, as I've mentioned a couple of times now, ahead of him. But yeah, 2 minutes left. I think there's going to be. It's gonna take a lot for Daniel Murphy to lose.
Matisse is off on with a couple of laps to go. Once again, at Fuji makes a mistake. Quinton Verdonk has taken a lead. He was half a second quicker than Matisse in sector 1 and really put him under pressure, and he slipped through. It's not over yet. There's still 2 minutes to go. I think we'll get about 2 more laps here. We'll take a look at what happened here. This is Quinton Verdonk getting past Matthias Weitzen. Matthias is nowhere to be seen.
And he's gone off there already. I think he just goes a bit too wide. Maybe get caught a little bit by the curb on the exit. Difficult to say when we couldn't really see it there. Yeah, gets caught by the curb as he tries to turn in, and then does well to correct the slide, but at that point he's already lost the position.
He's trying to fight back. He's taken 3 attempts out of him in sector 1. It's definitely not over. He'll be driving with anger now.
That's what puts up championship fights. Losing a position like that.
Jarvis trying to find a way past Matteo Batali, who's still stuck behind Michael Kellenberger, who wants that overall podium, which he's got at the moment. We'll monitor that battle at the lead, but right now Adam Jarvis trying to make it P2 in this race.
Adam Jarvis haven't had a incredible race like Daniel Murphy had, but he's come past the field quite well. So well that he's actually now fighting for P2, as you mentioned, really close here. 4/10, is it gonna be enough?
I think Michael
also has
Kellenberger in the
the-
AM car has just got a lot of straight line speed, seemingly. And Adam Jarvis isn't able to fight these guys into turn one, it seems.
Yeah, it's phenomenal to see the Porsche actually being so fast compared to some of the other cars like the Ferrari. It's not usually what the Porsche is known for, especially not the GT3.
On the
We'll
attack
see
here,
on that-
Kellenberger saying he's going to let
Kellenberger.
him by. He's going to let them both by, I think. Doesn't realise he's just given up the overall podium, but I think he doesn't want to get involved and wants to secure that P2 that he's got at the moment and take no risks. With Sven Elmer's only 8 seconds behind, it could quickly go wrong for these guys. Matthias Buyten on the attack again within half a second. I believe these guys will have taken the white flag 7 times quicker than his rival in Sector 1. I think this will be the last lap for these guys. Maybe just for 34 seconds. I believe they're probably about 34 seconds into the lap. So it could be close. Not sure if this is the last lap or not. Trying to see. Can't see a white flag message anywhere on race control. As he flashes the lights down the inside of Carlos Villarrejo, who tags him through the corner. They're coming up on more traffic. That's Michael Kellenberger, who gets out of the way nicely, actually, gives them plenty of room. And they're coming up on that Matteo Ubertali battle with Adam Jarvis that we saw a couple of moments ago. And this could decide the win overall is as the pro drivers battle it out. And down the inside for one of them, outside for Quinton Verdonk. Quinton Verdonk, this is going to put them under a lot of pressure. Adam Jarvis gets out the way nicely. Kellenberger on the radio. Matthias Buyten is not going to give this up at all. And that's a checkered flag, so it is going to be the win for Quinton Verdonk. It went all the way to the line. Congratulations to Quinton Verdonk. Matthias Buyten with P2 will probably be a bit disappointed, but after that crazy last lap, very, very close. Adam Jarvis is going to come home to finish P3 in Pro as Matteo Ubertali takes second place. Sven Elmers has secured that P2 in GT3 AM as the leaders are going to do an extra lap because they were so far ahead of the rest of the field. Fastest lap on the last lap as well for Eloy Caballero, who was showing mega pace catching these two as it dried out towards the end of the race, although there is a big cloud coming over the radio. Avale on the radio is not happy about something. Kellenberger has pulled off the road.
I think has he ran out of fuel?
I think Kellenberger's run out of fuel. I think that's why he was letting those other guys by. Look how close he is to the checkered flag. He's trying to make it. With a bit of freewheeling, yeah, I don't think he's going to make it though, unless somebody is going to be gracious enough to give him a push to the line. And no, he's retired from the session. Michael Kellenberger, after running P2 all day, runs out of fuel on the last lap.
So he's just thrown his well, that is crazy. That is crazy. Kellenberger so close to the finish line just to run out of fuel.
We missed this as well, but Daniel Morphy got past Dave Van Eck into turn 1 on the penultimate lap. And Daniel Morphy has now taken a checkered flag to win GT3 overall and to win GT3 Pro. But Dave Van Eck, I'll tell you what, he fought it back, yeah.
He's not giving up, but he's on the outside there. Don't think he's gonna get it past, and he's not gonna be able to throw it in again. I don't think he wants to throw it in again, even if he had the opportunity. He's just gonna take the flag and take the win in the AM category and P2 overall in GT3. What a phenomenal race from Dave Van Eck and Daniel Murphy.
Yeah, that was incredible from those two to pull away from the rest of the field in the way they did. Mega impressive from those two. I believe we're going to be able to get Dave for an interview as well. I'm just trying to find the right channel to drag him down from as Kellenberger comes on to say, nice race. I'd be disappointed with the result in the end, but mega race from him as well. Sorry, Dave, I think I just dropped you in the wrong chat momentarily there. Welcome to the broadcasting booth. Congratulations, you actually led overall a lot of the race, and I think lost the lead on the last lap, but congratulations. How difficult was that weather from your side?
Well, I didn't do a lot of practice, but somehow it kind of pulled it off. I didn't expect this at all, but yeah, I just drove my race, watched the fuel, And on the last lap, I had to save. Like I went over the line with 0.5, and I made it.
We
Yeah.
talked a lot about strategies into this race. Of course, when you're in the rain, you use less fuel. You say you don't do a lot of practice before this race, but did you have a tactic coming into it? Did you plan on doing a one-stop, or was it just like as you go through the race, you say, okay, this is a possibility, so I'm gonna go for it?
I calculated it before to like make sure I can make it, and it was very nearly. I calculated that I had to save 2 laps, and apparently I did. So I'm happy with that. And of course, a win. It will help me in the championship.
Yeah.
Well, phenomenal. I'm lost for words in here. Calculated on pit fuel and end up P2 overall. That's it's not every AM that does that. And something else not everybody does is winning. Daniel Murphy does that today, winning in his class, winning overall P2 behind an AM for most of the race, but cleared off everybody else. Daniel Murphy, congratulations. What were your thoughts on the race?
Yeah, it was a good race. Managed to start from pole position, so it was a bit easier with the spray. And I also, during the first 5 laps, I had to calculate if I could do a one stopper, because I never calculated before the race. And I started saving from the start, so I could manage the gap. And I saw Dave was in front of me after the pits, so I was kind of going to try to overtake, but then I saw he was AM, so I didn't have to do any risk, so I just saved a bit behind him, and I had more than 4 liters over in the end. So I thought he was going to win, but he was low on fuel, so I could be overall winner. So I'm happy with the race.
Yeah, congratulations. What was the multi-class like out there with the prototypes well behaved?
Yeah, I think because of the pits, we didn't see them that much. Otherwise, I think I only got them 3 times or 4 times maybe, but on easy spots, so no problems here.
Yeah, well, congratulations, winner in GT3 Pro. Thanks both of you for joining us. I'm going to run the viewers through the full results. So, GT3 Pro, Daniel Morphy was your race winner. We just spoken to him. Did a lap more than everybody else because him and Dave Van Eck were 20 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Matteo Ubertali comes home to take P2 despite the late challenge from Adam Jarvis, who came home in P3. Mark Lopez P4. Roman Dubert came home in P5. Oriel Falk P6 after that recovery drive due to that lap 1 incident and a couple more throughout the race. Alex Ott P7, Ignas Vinzarevsky's P8 after that pit lane start, Yannick Gerard's P9 and Marnix Heister P10 after retiring early on in the Lamborghini. GT3 Am Dave Van Eck won, like we said, led a lot of the race overall and came home to finish P2 overall. He'll be pretty happy with that result. Sven Elmers P2, Ted-Jan Bloemen P3, Matteo Lemre P4, Chris Van Ruyen P5, Michael Kellenberger P6 after having to retire with about 10 meters left to go to the line because he ran out of fuel on the last lap. Jose Carlos Villarrejo finished P7 and Senna Botkoven did not complete race distance or enough race distance to score points in P8. And Ule, I'll let you take us through the GTP results.
Yeah, GTP, huge upset from Quinton Fedonk here at the penultimate lap, taking P1 by just 420 of a second from Matthias Weiden. P2 is going to be punching his steering wheel today. Equal story as you mentioned earlier at another Fuji race. P3, Eloy Cabnero. P4, Albert Prim, another one that's also not going to be too happy today. P5 for Young Solvada. P6, David van der Vacker. P7, Carlos Pons. P8, Liam de Kock. And then Emma Kamalda and Jeff Ross that also seems to be quitting quite early on in the race.
Jeffrey Ross was involved in that one incident with his teammate where there was no visibility going into turn 1. Okay, well, thank you all that joined us. I think we're on a break week next week, if I'm not mistaken. Break week next week so that drivers can participate in the Fuji 8 Hours if they wish to do so. And then we're back for that season-ending doubleheader at Indy Road and then the 90-minute season finale at Daytona. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.